All right, welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 94. I love the dough. And we are back with our Black Business Series. And tonight we have Mr. Grant Thompson of the DC Shy Pie in the house. Welcome to the show, Grant.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, no, man. Look, we're glad that you can sit in with us tonight. For those who don't know who Grant Thompson is, by the time we are signing off tonight, you will know who this man is. So he's got a lot of great things that he's doing. We're going to get there in a second. But fellas, what's up? E, what's good, man?
Another week. I'll spare the dramatic. Everything happens for a reason. So we here on the Thursday, and just looking for a great show, man. And the weather sucked here today. It was overcast. I don't know what these clouds look like out here. So.
Good. Good. Grant, E is in Cali, just by the way. So
wow.
He's always talking about how beautiful the weather. Good. Just good. Just good.
Misery loves company.
Exactly. CB was good, brother.
Hey, man. If we're talking about weather, it got cold this week. We were supposed to actually start softball last night. I was telling you, had to drive out to Bethesda for some socially distanced softball. And after we got out there, because it was like 45 degrees out there last night, the other team forfeited. So I drove all the way out there, I drove all the way out there to then like maybe 45 minutes before we were supposed to play, we get the call like, oh, no, the other team's not showing up. So I was like, all right, well, I guess it's time to go back home and eat a treat. Because I did have a treat waiting for me when I got back. So,
and you know what? I made sure I came to Falls Church last night, and I left something at your doorstep. Well, your sister-in-law has it. But there was no way that we could have Grant on and not have tried the product.
Right.
I mean, we have to have some kind of testimony or, just tell him how we feel about his product. And we haven't gotten there quite yet. But we're gonna get there.
Yep.
I sent John over there today. This is John right here talking about he been asleep since lunchtime. The pie is the truth. Marcus, what's up? Yeah, the pie. We're getting there. We're getting there. These are other testimonies. Me and CB, these are nowhere near the comments that me and CB have for you right now.
Okay.
But with that, fellas, let's wrap.
We're working on the West Coast, getting it out to you on the West Coast, man.
Hey, say less, man. The way that everybody's talking about it, it's a good thing to wait for. So I'm here for it.
We're doing mail orders. We just haven't tested the West Coast market yet. We've gone as far as Texas.
Okay.
I think he's a good person to be he can be a tester for you. He'll be a subject.
We're gonna talk.
Okay. All right, so fellas, let's start. So that image right there, if you don't know who that is, you guys have been sleeping in a rock for pretty much part of the majority of your lifetime. But yesterday was the 5 years since Prince has been gone, and it still feels like yesterday. Like time, first of all, we know through this pandemic how fast time can go or how slow it can go. I mean, it still feels like we're sitting here and I just got sent home in March trying to figure it all out. I'm going to work from home.
Wow.
But that was a year, and this has been 5 years. And, I think it still hits the same every 21st. They play all this music. And throughout the year, obviously, I listen to the music all the time, and it just hits different. So we'll go around. You guys can share your thoughts, how you feel about this. Yeah, we can start with you.
It's kind of funny that in a way to talk about it, right? That Prince would have been the ideal person for the verse, right? Just imagine the fact that he would have been the dude that would have showed everybody, I'm about to play all these instruments for this one song that I wrote. You know what I mean? And it would have like showed his talent. And I think at the end of the day, I think that it comes with a sense of, you kind of wrap around like who these guys, who these people were to us when they were here. When they're gone, you take a little bit more time to, if you will, ingest the music, in a different light. And then you still have the light side where, there's no way that if you see a Chappelle show that you're not watching an episode of him doing Prince. So, it's just that thing that's going to live on forever. That
Absolutely.
It's always going to be in a good light, at the end of the day.
I got a question. Do you think that Prince would have done a versus?
I think. Well, no. I'll answer first. I think he would have did what they had D'Angelo do, which would have been he would have had his own set, right? Because he's just such great of an art. I mean, he's got. First of all, there's no way they ain't got enough time in a day for us to listen to everything that Prince
catalog. Yeah.
But I feel like something like that, you got to let him just do his own thing. And I think he would have, liked the fact that he would have been able to reach out to the ones that have not listened to him before, and given them the opportunity to like see how talented he was and what he's put his his hands on.
I mean, who could you possibly pin against him? If it came down to him doing a versus, there would be. I mean, there's only two people that are living that you could probably do it for. I mean, there could have been a Babyface just because of the catalog.
Yeah,
not necessarily quality. I mean, Babyface has quality music, just the catalog. I mean, it may be Quincy Jones, just production side and catalog as well. I mean, because you can pin the Michael records, but that's what everybody wanted anyway. They would try to pin the Michael records against the Prince records, and
of course,
that's how it always happens. CB, go for it.
So it's been 5 years, and me and you have worked together now like 6 or 7. So you being one of the biggest Prince fans of my collective friend group, like that's how I kind of think about this. Because I remember being at the job and us getting the news, like us kind of, thinking that something was going to be happening, and, seeing how it directly affected you, bro, because that was one of those, like you celebrated your 10th anniversary with the company. What did you do for your like special gift? You know what I mean?
They sent me to Paisley Park.
Right. So, like it just goes to show the impact that this man had as like an artist, on other people's lives and stuff. And it's something that the music lives on forever. The performances that, we have are things that we can always go back to. This time of year, it's not the same timing, but it makes me think back to the Super Bowl performance, some of those like iconic performances that we can think of. And, it ends up being a good reminder to celebrate life because, even recently with X passing and everything, like, we've been talking about trying to give people their flowers while they're still here. So, we don't always want to just be reminiscing back about how, a particular artist or whatever makes us feel, let's try to make sure that we're giving them their due while they're here. And so when, this kind of stuff comes up, it's more just a celebration of their life than anything else.
Right. Grant, you got anything?
So I was, speaking of the Super Bowl, in 2018, we were in Minneapolis at the Super Bowl because I'm a huge Eagles fan. And I was there to witness the Eagles win the Super Bowl. And they did an homage just by virtue of the fact that the game was played in Minneapolis. They did an homage to Prince. And I believe it was Bruno Mars. And not Bruno Mars, I'm sorry, Maroon 5. Outkast and somebody else, they were like the halftime guests. And the set that they did, I might be mixing, I'm not sure because I've been to a few Super Bowls, but the set that they did and how they just turned the whole stadium purple and just the tribute that they paid to Prince was just out of this world. And the other thing is, I don't know if you were going to mention this, but thinking in terms of the fifth anniversary of his death, and on the backdrop of that, what just took place in Minneapolis.
Minnesota has been going through it. Well, that area, St. Paul, Minneapolis, has been going through it for the last past 5 years.
And I wonder, if he was alive, what his impact would be in the whole thing,
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a good point. And then a couple of groups that I'm in, people chime in and they talk about that all the time, how just the feel of the area has changed since his passing. You had Philando Castile. Actually, the verdict came down for Philando Castile's, the cops against him, when I was there visiting Paisley Park. We were getting ready to go visit St. Paul, and the verdict came in. I was like, we're going nowhere near St. Paul. We're going to stay in Minneapolis.
Wow.
Because that area, just the vibe of that area. I mean, I'm a huge music fan. And one thing that I wanted to do when I went there was I wanted to go to a local spot and just listen to a local artist play music, because that just, Mint Condition that came out of that area. I mean, you got The Time that came out of that area. I mean, there are, and then a bunch of proteges that have come out of that area, and it's just a music town. And during the warmer months, that area is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It almost puts you in a hypnosis and want to move there. But then when you figure about those winters that they talk about, that might wipe a lot of that stuff away. But it just doesn't feel like 5 years. I know the music will always be there, and then every year the estate has released some type of new music or a revamped previous released album with 90 songs on it and stuff like that. And they're trying their best to give you the feel. But, with knowing with the family still fighting over money and the state being in limbo, and you just don't know these releases are for the greed. I mean, it's probably filling in two voids. It's going to bring money in, but then it's kind of satisfying the fan. But, I think you should have put somebody that actually knows knows the music in charge of kind of the releases, knows what he wants. But, 5 years, and then that's a good segue into this. It's going to be more than 5 years for this guy right here, hopefully, right? So I found the best picture I could find. It was between this one or the mugshot, and I think this one just represents the best I could bring out. And I tried to find his inmate number. I wrote it down somewhere I can't find my notes, but the verdict came in. I mean, I think we've all been emotionally attached to this story, this case, for the past year. We've been all quarantined for the most part, so you can't help but to be engulfed in it. Plus, the video exists. And Monday, I sat and watched the closing arguments from both sides, and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, if you're the defense, I mean, the man is, I guess, he's owed a fair trial. But how can you even sway? I know it only takes us one person, but where do you begin to sway? And you start bringing in carbon monoxide poison, a rowdy crowd. You got all that, but then you have 9 minutes and 21 seconds of footage that you get emotionally attached to, that you can see. I can't see him breathing in carbon monoxide. I don't see a unruly crowd. I see a crowd that's fighting for this man's life, somebody who they don't even know, asking somebody who they don't even know to think about this guy, get up off of him. But I know when that verdict came down, I was cautiously just waiting, because we know how it should go, but we know how what the past has said how it's going to go, right? We've lived through these things before, a bunch of times. So Grant, how did you feel about that? Were you emotionally involved in this case?
I was. My wife and I were like glued to the television, and even the after comments on MSNBC and other news outlets. It's crazy, because it kind of reminds me of, I grew up without my dad in my house, but while my father was living, my father would promise that he was coming to get us. We wait on the porch all day and he wouldn't show up. And it kind of, it's reminiscent to that feel that we have these cases time after time, and we sit with bated breath, waiting for a verdict that's going to benefit us. And the evidence is clear but it never does. And this time, it was totally the opposite, and it was refreshing. But even still, we can't rest on our laurels, because just the same day that they did this verdict came back. The young girl in Columbus, Ohio, was shot. So we still have a long ways to go, but this is a step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Absolutely. CB?
I think that it's encouraging, obviously, because it seems like we're starting to get some accountability, which is something that we have not had. And we know that it's been obvious with how these cases have been going on, these last couple of years, especially with the heightened awareness and the scrutiny that's been put on them. So it did feel like a small victory overall, just because of what happened the same day. So it was like we couldn't even go a full day without the same topic, still taking center stage for the wrong reasons. And so it's encouraging. I'm not confident that he's going to get the 75-year maximum that he would be eligible for. Kind of interested to see how all that plays out. But for the sake of accountability, like, this is a step in the right direction, because this is, like we've been saying, we were waiting, cautiously optimistic about what could happen, but still somewhat surprised when we got, guilty on all three. But that's the thing. We shouldn't have to feel that way, So it's one of those things where I don't think any of us should, take this as this is the Super Bowl. This is just another game during the regular season. We're not even, we're not even there yet.
Right.
I'm gonna cut through it. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't have an emotion. I think it's just, like I said, we've talked about this throughout the process. Was the outcome great? Yes. What we're focused on is the accountability. But, like you said, somebody lost their life in order for this to take place. We still have numerous it's, I can't help but to say it, but this country really just don't love us. And, the smallest victory that we just received is still not, it doesn't do anything for the pain that we've been dealing with for the amount of years that we've been dealing with it, right? So it's hard to adjust to say that you get excited for that 30 seconds, but then realize, like you said, in the news that something else happens, you know what I mean? And it just kind of reminds you that it's we definitely got a far ways to go, and you just hope that it's always been about the spark that's going to change what's been in place for so long. Let's just say I hope I'm here to see that change at least be ignited, for our kids to bear witness to what should be a better society at the end of the day.
Right. I mean, I agree. The change, it's just a start. I mean, this has to put a little bit of, maybe not fear is not the good word, but it has to put some of these cops on notice that, 12 people are tired of what's been going on. I mean, who knows what would happen if there was no video, because the report didn't tell what was actually on the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did want to hear from him. I did, I knew he wouldn't testify. Some people thought he would, but at that point, I mean, he obviously thought he could win, but I know testifying would open up a big can of worms regarding him and everything else. But I did want to hear from him, what the thought process of just, the mindset, not that it would change anything, but I did want to hear. I mean, now, let's be honest. I mean, he was out on bail, and now, you go from having the world at your disposal. Now you're under somebody else's control in a box. Your mindset has to change. and then he's got 8 weeks before he's going to get his sentencing. But look, 8 minutes is a long time in prison.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, and getting to 8 weeks, if you never served a day, 8 weeks is going to feel like a hell of a long time for him. And then just to get the sentencing to find out how much more longer he's got to go. But I did want to hear from him. We can do that. We'll go around one more time. Did you want to hear from him? Do you want to hear from him?
I did want to hear from him. I kind of figured that we wouldn't, but I think it was just his just arrogance, in my opinion, was so offensive. To think that you're just going through, procedural things because at the end of the day, I'm walking. And that's the mentality of the blue line. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. You can do the most egregious thing to, a black man, and we're still going to get it. I don't care if they have a video, and I don't have to testify because the blue line is going to hold me down. And to see that broken, to see that whole system just not make a difference, was refreshing. At best, it was refreshing to see. I kind of figured that he didn't have a chance once I found out the chief was going to testify against him. They were going to convict him of something because that's just unheard of. That was just, so unprecedented. You don't have the chief of a police department testify against another officer. They'll go in the back room, slap him on the wrist, but they have a united front. And to see him, I heard an interview, someone asked the chief, what would he say if he was in a room alone with Mr. Chauvin? He said, I would never be in a room alone with this man. And this was before, he testified. So just to hear that, and not because of the whole black and white dynamic, because you still have that and the blue line exists. But it was just refreshing for me. But I really would have loved to hear him testify just to justify every minute.
Yep.
I would like to hear you explain every minute when you thought it was necessary to take your knee off his neck. And why not at this point? Or why not at this point here?
I still haven't actually figured out if I really wanted to hear from him or not, or if I just had that feeling that if he did get up there, it was just going to be really for our own benefit. You know what I mean? Like, because Grant, like you were mentioning, there was a coldness to him the entire time, from the first time we ever saw the video through all the proceedings that had to do, with the case and everything. And so just from the outside looking in, it really felt like there was nothing that this man could say that was going to redeem him in the eyes of the watching public. Not to say that there isn't a large group out there that, kind of feels like he was justified for, one way or one reason or another. Like, for the vast majority of us that are human, we figured what was coming down the road, right? And it was one of those things where I could not see him actually being able to answer, like what Grant was saying. He couldn't answer what was going through his mind every minute, because if he did, we know that answer is not good enough, because a man lost his life when it didn't need to be that way. Mm-hmm. And so I'm fine, I think, with him not having spoken, but I don't know if it would really have changed my perception of everything one way or another. I don't think that my opinion would have been swayed either way by having him speak, based off of how everything had worked out anyways. And it was kind of unprecedented to have the limited number of people from the defense taking the stand compared to the prosecution. And you know, if he's not even going to come to his own defense, you know, that it just kind of, not to invoke another Dave Chappelle joke, but it sounded like open and shut case, Johnson.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it short. I didn't want to hear from him because there's nothing that he could have said that would have justified the means of what took place. And I think it would have only invoked a bigger anger from the crowd of the people who didn't want to hear him. But then it would have also given fire to those people that would have, you know, who are on the other side that think that I can do anything and I'm untouchable. Mm-hmm. So I think it played a good part that he did not get up there, because it only takes something of that demeanor to spark both sides to then do like this again. You know what I mean? And, you know, so all I got to say is may God rest his soul, because that's what he's got to deal with going forward. Mm-hmm. Knows but his thoughts and the soul that he got left. So,
yep, absolutely.
So I think Eric commented that Black Will would have ate him alive.
Absolutely.
And I mean, shout out to the prosecution legal team.
That was amazing. That team was amazing.
Yeah, I was around, you know, during the Johnny Cochran era and the OJ trial, and I just thought that their team was just superior in terms of, you know, defending OJ Simpson. And he probably was as guilty as sin, but they got him off. These guys, man, meticulously set and laid out a case against this guy that was so undeniable that the jury had no other recourse but to convict. Right. And I was proud to watch that. I was really proud to watch that.
The last comment about the heart comparison was phenomenal. Yeah, that was a great closing statement.
Yeah.
I mean, it played on emotion. The whole thing is emotion based. And at the end of the day, no matter what the defense says, there's a 9-minute video to go back to.
Yeah, it spoke for itself.
Yeah.
I love the part where they said, you can believe what you see.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's as simple. It's simple. It is what it is. What you see is what it is.
Yeah.
Great. We want to thank everybody for watching right now. First of all, if it's your first time joining us, like and subscribe. I got to say that. Like our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, all that good stuff. We want to do something with it eventually. But we are back. It's been a couple weeks since we've done our Black Business series, but hey, this is a good reason to bring it back. We weren't just going to bring it back for anybody. So tonight we have, from the DC Shy Pie, we have Mr. Grant Thompson. Again, welcome to the show, Grant.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
So I'm gonna base this story. I'm gonna tell us a quick story how Grant came to be for this week. First of all, it was fate, because one, I didn't think we had anybody lined up and we were gonna do something. But my dad called me, and the first thing he started talking about, man, you've got to try this pizza. It's like Marcus brought me a slice. It's Chicago style deep dish pizza. He brought me a slice, and it was amazing, phenomenal. Like, he just went on and on and on. I was like, oh, wow, okay, great. I was like, do you think we can get him on the show? I thought you two knew each other. He's like, oh, no, I don't really know him. I was like, okay. Next thing I know, I get a text. He's waiting on your phone call. We can make this happen. Like, so I called Grant, and we had a 10-minute conversation, and bam, here we are tonight. So, Grant, let's tell people what it is that what product you are pushing. Let's start with that, because I said pie, but go and tell everybody what it is.
So it's a Chicago style deep dish pizza, and I just happen to have a love for Chicago style deep dish pizza. If you don't mind, I'll give you my elevator story real quick.
Go for it.
All right. So a year ago, almost to date, actually in March, we were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My best friend lives in Milwaukee. And we did a day trip. We were there for his birthday. We did a day trip to Chicago because it's only an hour away. Mm-hmm. And while we were there, after we were winding up our time in Chicago, we didn't want to leave the city without getting deep dish pizza. So we went to our favorite place in Chicago to get deep dish. And it was crazy. We asked the police, who was the best? Was it Giordano's or was it Lou Malnati's? And we asked everybody. We were in the mall asking people, and finally we asked a couple of police officers, and they said, hands down, is Giordano's. So we went and had no idea that the wait just to get in to sit down and eat was 2 hours. And so they have a carry out where you can order frozen pies. It's a separate building attached to the restaurant. So we went in there and we ordered 2 frozen pies, took them back to Milwaukee, put them in the oven when we got there, ate, and I was just, well, coming home, we came home right into quarantine. We literally came home right smack into the quarantine, and 2 weeks into the quarantine, my wife wants more deep dish pizza. So we're going to do a mail order and just have them, ship it to us. And when we discovered that it was $90 plus shipping, it's like, yo, for $90, I'll make you a pizza. That's literally how it started. And my wife held me to it. We went out the next day and got a KitchenAid mixer. I got a recipe and put it together. And much to my surprise, the finished product was it was beautiful. I couldn't believe I created it. I took pictures and put it on social media. And timing is everything, because at that particular time, everybody's at home. Everybody wants something to eat, but everybody, everything gets shut down. So how do we get our hands on that? And that became the thing. And a month later, about a month and a half later, it was a full-fledged business. We perfected the pies, and the first 2 pies we made, it was a sausage pepperoni, and it was a veggie pie. The sausage, and I didn't know anything about making pizza. Our pepperoni was like that thick. It wasn't the thin stuff we use now, but it was thick. And so we had our own little focus group with my sons and my daughter-in-laws and everybody here tasting it. This is delicious. The crust is delicious. And well, Dad, try to use thinner pepperoni next time, that thing. But it came together, and we've gone through a change of the pans that we use. We've gone through a change of, the quality of the ingredients. We've increased the quality and all of that. And what we have now as our finished product is what people are raving about. And it's something that took on a life of its own.
Yeah. It's kind of wild because I haven't had, so our guest last week, my buddy Earl, who one of the owners of Crooked Crab. So if you didn't watch last week's episode, tune into that, especially if you're a beer drinker. Had some fun stuff with that. But he had his bachelor party in Chicago. And so we based the entire trip around hitting up these breweries that were in Chicago. Wow. And then trying to make sure that we got Giordano's pizza as many times as we could in like the 4 days that we were there.
Wow.
So I hadn't, and this was, I don't know, probably 6-7 years ago at this point. And so literally I hadn't had deep dish up at like since, like it, because there aren't places in Northern Virginia, like in the area really, that do any kind of real Chicago style pizza. Like we're not talking about something seasonal that Pizza Hut or Domino's might do. You know what I mean? Like there aren't, to really do deep dish, I feel like you need like a place that's kind of dedicated to it. And man, Mr. Thompson, I got to tell you, when I got home last night, and I'm talking to my sister-in-law, I'm like, all right, where are the goods? Because I know Phil dropped the goods off, and you got them. And he had wrapped it. It was still warm. And I have to say, like the ratio, like all the focus group testing that you and the family did, like you guys knocked it out. Like the ratio of like crust to cheese to toppings and stuff. Like, man, I texted Phil. He had hit me up. He was like, "Yo, have you tried it yet?" And all I responded was, "Damn." So, I guess my first question for you will be is, has deep dish always been like your go-to style of pizza? Like, how, or is it just specifically if you guys had never made that last trip, you know, the story could be completely different?
So it was crazy. We were in Milwaukee. We kind of go every year. The time before that we went, my friend took me to a place because we missed getting pizza in Chicago that time. He took me to another place in Milwaukee that did deep dish pizza, and it was just as good. And so I've always had an affinity to, you know, deep dish style pizza. There was a place, I don't know if you all are young enough or old enough to remember, Armand's.
That's the only one.
Armand's,
the only one
in DC was the only place that you could get Chicago style deep dish pizza. And I would go there on a weekend and I wore it out like it was nothing. And then when Uno's came out, I like Uno's, but it just wasn't the same. And so, but still, because I like, you know, deep dish, I would get my family was tired of me because we would go out to eat and they would get something. And I said, no, I want Uno's. And so we would have to go 2 places to eat because I just have an affinity for deep dish pizza. But never, and you couldn't have told me this in a million years that I would be making pizza. We as a family set out in the beginning of 2020 to do real estate together. That was going to be our family business. And we were going to launch that and do all of that. And it never happened because the pizza thing just fell in our lap. And it's crazy, you know, how it just took off because I can't say that I'm solely responsible or I can't, you know, be braggadocious or arrogant about the flavor or any of those things. These are things that just evolve. And the fact that I don't know, I can't take credit for any of it because it just happened. Now, if I would have said, now I'm gonna set out and do a pizza business and we're gonna do this and I'm gonna make this and this is gonna, then I could see that, but this thing literally, it just happened. And I believe in God. I just know it was a God thing for me. That's where it was. There it is.
Like, look at that, man.
When you look at these pies, we came up with the salmon pesto because I have a friend, when she discovered that we were making pizzas, she doesn't do red sauce. She can't have red sauce, nothing tomato based. So she asked if I could do a pie other than red base. And the only thing I could think of was pesto. So when I went to buy the pesto, I saw smoked salmon. I said, that seemed like that might go. And so I put the pie together just for her. The way you see it there is how I made it for her. Just because she couldn't eat, that's the one in the middle.
Yep.
Where you see it there is how I made it for her. And when the way she raved about the flavor and all of that, and then I hadn't even tasted it. When we tasted, I was like, yo, this is amazing, kind of. And we made it a thing. The salmon pesto shy pie. And you can't be in DC and not, pay homage to the city without a steak and cheese. So that's how the steak and cheese came about.
That's the one on the far end.
Far left, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so listen. I mean, I'm the oddball out that has not tasted this deliciousness of a product. Like I said, we gonna talk offline about. I'm up for paying the money to get it sent out here. Please believe that. So we can get it frozen and sit out here. Trust me, we can talk about that. But what I guess in the sense of like how it's almost like it's organic, right? Everything that you're doing, how you're coming up with the recipes, or just surely by taste, which I think is also the beauty behind it, right? Like, it's not forced, right? You're not trying to mimic anybody else. You're almost coming up with it on your own. And I think that in itself is the thing that draws people. how much is the pie going for? And do you even sell them by slices, or do they got a pie, that whole brick of pizza that you got on there? Because I mean, damn, like that. First of all, I hope people getting their curls in, because that looked like that pie is heavy as hell.
You could curl the pie. That joint's got some weight to it. That is not a lie, for real.
So we did a whole year with a price point for the 10-inch, which is the large pies you just showed. We did a whole year with a price point of $30, and we did the veggie for $25 because it didn't have any meat. And we have a part of our team. Our team got together and saw. Well, of course, there's an increase in the product, cheese, and the cheese price fluctuates like monthly. And so, but for the most part, it's been trending upwards. So we're paying more for cheese and that kind of thing. And so we discovered that families were buying the pies, and people were saying, we had a lot of calls of, what do we do with it? Because I can't finish it. We got a half a pie. Do they freeze? That's how we discovered they freeze well. And so we got together, and I fought tooth and nail because I love the consumer. And my team was saying that we have to raise the price. We have to raise the price because it's killing us. And so I fought, and I said, okay, let's do it at the beginning of the year. And then when the beginning of the year came, I still didn't feel comfortable. And then they were dead set. Okay, March. So we got to change the price. So as of March, the large 10-inch pies are $45. And we added a personal size pie that is 8 inches. And so now people are buying the personal size who, are single, or it's just two of them where they can eat it and don't have to worry about storage or freezing it or that kind of thing. So, and as of May 1st, I'm rolling this out on the We Are Something Else podcast.
Exclusive. Oh, we about to get the exclusive.
This is the exclusive. I'm rolling it out with you guys. I'm showing the love right here.
Love it.
We're rolling out the DC flats. The DC flats. We're going to do a flat crust pie, and we're going to pay homage to the city. So exclusively, this is exclusive on We Are Something Else podcast. So we're going to do a pie for each sector: Southeast, Northeast, Southwest, Northwest. So the Northwest pie, we're going to call it the Georgetown, and it's going to be a gyro pie, because Georgetown had this place called Icaros. They had the best gyros in the city. Everybody go to the Greek spot now, but Icaros was the spot. So that's the Northwest pie. The Northeast pie is going to be the shrimp boat. Shrimp boat is a notorious landmark in the city. And the shrimp boat pie is going to be a Thai chili shrimp pizza.
Wow.
And then we're rolling out, for Southeast, we're rolling out the big chair. And the big chair, if you're going to pay homage to the city, you got to do something with some mumble sauce. So the big chair pie is going to be chicken and mumble sauce. And last but not least, the Southwest pie we're going to call the Wolf. That's going to be a beer, cheese, and crab meat pie.
Wow.
Exclusively. Nobody else has heard it. We haven't even put it on social media yet.
That's amazing.
Because there was okay. First of all, we appreciate that exclusive. That as if
incredible.
I didn't need another reason to come back. That was 5 more reasons you just gave me to come back. There was a question in there about is that a certain point where you take special requests, or have you thought about a seafood pizza? Is that as close as we're going to get with the Wharf, or have you started working on a seafood?
Well, we were doing as a special. We never rolled it out as a menu item. The Thai chili shrimp pie, and it's a veggie pie and we saute plump shrimp with a chili sauce, and just the caramelization and all of that. We drizzle that and put that into the vegetables, cover it, and then drizzle the top layer of cheese and the sauce with the Thai chili the Thai chili sauce. And then after it comes out of the oven, we put the grilled shrimp on top of it. So it was amazing. And that was probably that and the salmon pesto was probably about as close as we did in terms of a seafood pie, because most cooks would tell you seafood and cheese don't go together. But we came up with a recipe for this beer cheese and crab pie. And let me tell you, the focus group tested out of the roof.
Not surprised.
Experience baking this pie. If you all have ever gone down to the wharf and smelled the crabs cooking, you can literally smell the beer and the crab. You get that whole experience baking this pie. My house smelled like we were slamming at the wharf. And so, and then the taste of it is just, it's the crust, mozzarella cheese, and then I have a wonderful beer cheese recipe. Beer cheese, and we drizzle it with crab meat, lump crab meat. And then most people who eat crab in DC know that you can't have crab without your own little dipping sauce. So my wife and my son have a legendary sauce that's been in our family for years. We take that sauce and drizzle that over the pie and then sprinkle it with Old Bay and lights out.
Wow.
I need a time machine so I can go forward in time so I can grab one of these
May
pieces of
1st.
pizza.
May 1st. Oh, we're about a week away.
Yeah, we're about a week away.
So Elena has been A-Right has been posting this a couple times. She said, "Do you need taste testers for these pies?" First of all, John, I believe he came by today at noon and got the pizza. A-Right is his wife. They live literally one block over. They live on H Street.
Are you serious?
They have offered up their oven if you need an extra oven. They have offered up, taste testing if you need that. So that's a good segue. First of all, let me CB gave his testimony, and let me give mine real quick, as if people shouldn't already know what it is. I was mad that I gave CB that much pizza yesterday. I was mad. I was like, I gave him too much, but he needed it. And then I have an assault charge on me because I literally drove to La Plata and smacked my mother after I finished that pie. And
she picked up today, actually.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Look, let me tell you, amazing. And the exclusive is even better. Like, we got CB. We got a lot of trips to take.
I want to know: are these going to be like different days of the week? You guys going to have these? Are you just planning on having them ready to go all the time, or what's the plan for the menu? Like how do you guys work that currently?
So right now we have an automated system, Toast Tab, and these things will be added to the Toast Tab. These will be added to the Toast Tab menu. So when you go online to order our Instagram or Facebook page, and you click on order here, place order here, you'll be able to order the flats as well as the deep dish. And we're not cross-pollinating the varieties. So you're not going to have a steak and cheese flat because we want people to buy steak and cheese deep dish.
Right.
So the staples will remain the staples, but these are the first 4 that we're coming out in terms of the DC flats. These are the first floor. And this is another exclusive.
Let's go.
Let me get you back in the exclusive, chick, right? There you go. You're back in the exclusive.
Night. I'm giving it to you, Phil.
Oh, my God. Let's go.
So we have been in the lab sampling a vegan offer. And I'm proud to announce that on May 1st, we will also be running a vegan deep dish, a vegan steak and cheese pie.
That's awesome.
A vegan steak and cheese pie. Now, we will only do them in the personal size to start because vegan cheese is so expensive. And I'm trying to figure out how we can buy in bulk. But eventually we'll roll out where you can get it in the 10-inch pan. And man, we did a vegan taste test the other night, and it tested through the roof as well for the vegan steak and cheese. So
I'm not vegan, and I would love to try it. That's all I got to say.
yeah.
Right.
So two quick things. One, because it hasn't come into play yet, but you were telling your story, how you started this business, and I don't think anybody had caught on to. You didn't say you bought a storefront and you're doing this out of a store. Where is this place at? Like, if I want to get this pizza, where am I coming?
So I don't want to give my address out over the airway. We're doing it. This is a home-based business for now. And I want you all to understand, I mean, no disrespect to any of our patrons, but I want you to understand I have to live here. But when you go online and you place the order, the pickup address will be provided for you. And that's probably about as much as I could give you without giving you my address.
Absolutely.
But, and we're actively in pursuit of another place. But until then, it's a home-based business, and we've been blessed to survive. This week is our 1-year anniversary as an official business. So,
Congratulations to that.
In a pandemic.
In a pandemic.
In a pandemic.
Yeah, in a pandemic. So I'm excited about what we've done thus far, and for somebody who never made a pizza before in their life. I've never made a pizza before in my life up until this point. We are making a indelible mark in the pizza market, especially in DC. So I'm ecstatic about. I could not have chosen this for my life in a million years. This was a God thing, and I gotta underscore that. This was certainly a God thing. So
absolutely.
And E, I want you to know, man, you're gonna be the crash test homie for the LA market. We got you.
Please believe it. I got some people out here that'll definitely put their 2 cents in. But yeah, man, like I said, we can get one out here, and you're gonna have plenty of feedback in no time.
So we got to ship it to you frozen.
Yeah.
But again, they reheat well. They freeze well and they reheat well. The first pie that we shipped frozen was in Tampa, Florida. And the people we sent it to had never tasted what a fresh pie tastes like. But they said, when they thawed the pie out and put it in the oven and ate it, said, this thing is bananas. If the fresh pie tastes better than this, then I'm all in. And we send to them on a regular. And then when they're in the area, they always buy fresh as well. So I know that they translate well in terms of mail orders. So that part is good, but we just haven't shipped one as far as Los Angeles.
Cool.
I'm sorry, because there's a lot of comment interaction that they want Grant to answer a couple of questions. So Eric Coney has posed a couple of Eric. People don't know who Eric is. That's Pops. That's my dad. He has posed 2 things towards you. One, he's a really good photographer, and he posed, could he come and shoot your process? Could he, take some professional pictures for you?
Absolutely, I would love that.
And now he's talking about investing. So there's that conversation too. He has your number. Y'all can talk offline about that.
Absolutely. I welcome that conversation as well.
There we go.
Yo, he wants a pie named after E. The hater pie.
Great. Greg, understand there's a lot of banter going on that you'll understand in a little bit later on in this segment. That's the reason why I keep getting the business from Pops online. But it's all good. But, real quick, I know one of the things I think you had mentioned it was, how like everything's come about and being a home-based business and what's your day like as far as receiving orders to waking up to like when do you shut it down? And I know somebody very close to me, Patty Cake Piper, that's on here, that literally tears up an oven. I think she just launched something not too long ago where she spent about like almost 15 hours in the kitchen just baking stuff. How is your oven doing? And like I said, what's your normal process of a day?
So we've been through an oven. So the oven that came with the house, we burnt that out. And right now we're using, it's still a home oven, but it's convection. And so convection gives us the capability of, cooking pies in 20 minutes. But I think we have a capacity to cook 6 pies at one time. And you're talking about 25, 30 minutes per pie when you have a full capacity. So if I'm running my oven and I got 4 pies in the big oven and we have 2 auxiliary convection oven countertops. So if I'm running my ovens, the more pies that are in there, the longer it's going to take. So that's that process. In terms of us being in the kitchen, we operate Wednesday through Saturday. So we're closed Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. I pastor a church, and I have to make time for that. And then I'm a family man. I'm married with 2 sons. They're grown, married themselves, but I got grandsons, and we need time to spend with them. And so, and the other thing is, it's been such a blessing. I've been able to hire my youngest son as my assistant. So that, that in and of itself has been a blessing. And then because of that, I get to see my grandsons almost at least 4 days a week. So I'm excited about that. But the time we spend, it's a labor of love. So it doesn't feel, like a chore, or it's not, tedious, because we're doing something that we literally love to do. And I'll go out to the cars when we deliver curbside. I'll go out and meet, the people that are buying the product. I'll ask them, how they found out about it. Ask them if this is your first time. Oh man, get ready for an experience and that whole thing. And this is how I probably would like to be treated if I was supporting, up and coming upstart business. And I tried to give that in doses, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that's become a staple of our product, because people know when they come, they're going to get good customer service. They're going to feel the love. They're going to taste the love. So.
He's not the only one getting the hate from Pops.
Shame on you, Cleo.
He said, I'm just going to change my address to the kitchen. But he said,
I mean, I think this kind of goes for Piper too, but like I can think of many worse things than a house that smells like full of pizza or baked goods. You know what I mean? Like, shoot.
And listen, let me tell you, the neighbors, because the first thing I thought it would become problematic, because you have 4 or 5 people pulling up at the same time and, vying for, I live on a residential block. So DC people cherish their parking spaces. But, you got people that drive up to pick up pizza curbside, and they're pulling in somebody's space. Now, they're not going to be there a long time, but I know my neighbors, were trying to figure out, what are they doing out of there? Why all these people keep pulling up? I don't want them to think we were doing drugs, but they know me, so they know we're not doing drugs. So some of them were so bold as to ask me, what's going on? I said, yeah, we started making pizza, and it's just taken off. So now our neighbors are some of our best customers. Our neighbors are our focus group. And, when we roll out, and I do that intentionally because I just want them to be on board.
Keep them happy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm excited about this, and how this thing is taking off, where it's going, and it is in regards to a Black-owned business. It is something that we weren't taught, but something that we kind of came to understand: legacy.
Absolutely.
And I want to be able to leave a legacy in the earth for my 2 grandsons and my grandchildren to come. And this is the thing. And so I'm just excited about it.
Absolutely. So Wright, she really wants to help you out. Look, she's offering up a convection oven, and
my oven does convection.
And she's about to get her husband to clear out the driveway so you have extra parking for your customers, and he's got to walk one block over to come to your spot.
She could come by if she just want to get a whiff of the aroma. She could just stop by the crib.
Yep.
I'll just open the door for her.
So you talk about legacy. That's a good segue. So what's the plan? What's next for the DC Shy Pie? So it's a two-parter. So what's next? And then with growth, because at a certain point you're going to outgrow your current location, when it becomes more of a commercial. Are you worried about losing kind of the branding if you expand?
That's always a concern because I've seen a lot of businesses organically grow, and then when they launch out too soon, they lose the thing that brought people to the door. People like, and you can never underestimate the power of a crowd online, because people like that. And sometimes you try to oversatisfy that and expand. And what people were coming for was the fact that every time I came here, there was a line around the block. And now
it's an experience.
It's the whole experience. And now I can just walk up. It's not the same. And so you have to kind of balance those two. Because of COVID in terms of going forward in a business model, COVID has shown us that sit-down restaurants and that kind of overhead is not the thing anymore. And not so much pop-up, but where people can come and just pick up, or DoorDash can come and just pick up and shoot it out and delivery, or people can walk up and pick up an order. That's really what's trending in terms of dining now. And you have some of the most gourmetest meals in a bag now, and not on a white tablecloth setting, because people have businesses and restaurants have pivot, and they have to go with the trend of how consumers are buying now. And so I would like to put a DC Shy Pie in like every major city with the same, walk-up concept. And I would also like to see the DC Shy Pie in grocery stores and frozen food sections. Same way you see, Giordano has it so that you can only go to Giordano and get them, but they have it. But I'd like to see them in Wegmans or Trader Joe's or, places like that. So that's kind of, where we're headed and what we're looking at futuristically. But I'm excited for where we are right now. I don't want to.
Absolutely.
Don't want to just miss the opportunity that we have now, trying to forecast for the future.
Absolutely.
What the future is going to be. So I'm just in the moment, enjoying where we are right now. In my kitchen, loving on my wife and my grandsons and my son and my daughter-in-law. We're here and making good product and serving the community. I love this space we're in right now.
Do you cater?
We can, but we haven't. Now, so we've done a corporate lunch. This guy ordered 30 pies from us, and we had to make them stay up all night making pies and deliver them to Chantilly. So we have the capability of doing it, but we just haven't.
We have thought about a food truck.
I have. I don't think that's the model I want to go in terms of business. I would do it not as something that I did every day, but something that I could access for like big events. So, like Final Four games or the Super Bowl or Redskins Sundays, hire just go out on Sundays and it would be primarily for promotions. And, of course we're selling pies, but, for promotional use, but not something that, we would pull up and people, because that space, it's hard to, a lot of work would have to go into having enough pizzas to satisfy a crowd for a food truck because of just by virtue of the oven time.
Right.
Before we transition, fellas, you got anything? I'm speechless. Like I said, Grant, we just need to talk after this so we can get that pizza out here, brother. And I guess I might have to definitely take a trip back to the East Coast to get the.
No, you're gonna be the crash test homie.
All right.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, you can hear the excitement in your voice, Grant. So it's one of those things where we know that it's genuine. We can feel, the passion and everything that the family's putting in, to the business. So I think that that's something that, as a new consumer and a fan of what you guys are doing, like that's the kind of environment that keeps people coming back. And, to me, I think that probably lends itself to why I don't know if there's a way to capture it, but I have to imagine a vast majority of your customers got to be repeat customers. Because once you have it once, like there's no way I'm not getting another DC Shy Pie after, eating what I had yesterday. So I think that it's exciting to hear your story. And I think that just based off of what we can hear from your voice, that there, the passion for the success is there.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it, CB.
Thanks.
And this is why we started the Black Business Series, Grant. First of all, we were doing audio before the pandemic, right? And we were trying to get ready to figure out how we were going to do live shows, and it started getting more involved because we wanted to evolve in this show and do something different. But then the pandemic hit, and it forced us to find a means of doing, still doing the show without being in the same room. And then boom, this platform comes along and we're able to do, transition our show to video now and take it to the next level. And then we were sitting here and, everybody was hurting during the quarantine, and I know businesses were suffering. And we sat in and we decided, let's spotlight, there's a lot of Black businesses that need the business right now are suffering. And what we found was a lot of the businesses were thriving. Like we haven't had any stories thus far that, people were hurting, but, it's good to hear that people are thriving, no matter how it may feel like, people may not be thriving, but a lot of these businesses we've featured are thriving, and a couple of them have been started during the pandemic. So what you have here is the product, first of all, is amazing. But again, like I feel like I've only talked to you since Sunday. Our relationship goes back as far as Sunday, but I feel like I've known you for a long time.
I feel likewise, man.
And I feel like it's just like I could feel the how you push the family environment, which is amazing. And we always thank people for taking their time out, and doing and sitting in with us, because this your time is your time. You could be doing anything else.
Absolutely.
But we want to thank you for sitting down with us tonight and spending your time with us.
So real quick, man, I got a question. How did you guys come together?
So me and CB, We worked together, and one day our banter goes as far as he sat on one side of the wall and I sat right on the other side. We would just have these conversations, and some people walk by and think we were funny. And then one of our coworkers, Educated Queen, who's not on here tonight, she said, "You guys should start a podcast." If I had to say her name, because if I didn't credit her for being the idea behind us getting together,
we're both getting messages. After the show.
We're getting messages. So, but she said we should have a podcast, and then I knew a guy that was wanting to get in the podcast, and he was actually the fourth member. He recently left the show, but we were doing the show did a test pilot at his house, and it just turned into, look, come back next week. Then he became an unofficial third member. And then you talk about E right here. I've known E for, 20 plus years. And he moved out to Cali, and the Kobe issue happened. Kobe passed.
Yeah.
And so we had him on the show to just get the pulse of what was going on in LA. Just to try to feel somewhat close to it. And then he came back. And then he kept coming back, and then somehow he got the password, and he just logs in every week, and E is just here.
Wow!
But no, that's my brother. I love E.
He was moving to LA in June.
Nice.
So we're going to be actually coming out there because at some point we got to help her transition from. She lives in Long Island, New York now, so we got to help her transition from Long Island to LA. So we'll be coming out there, but I'd like to get prior to that, prior to June. Nice.
So let's again, Grant Thompson. If y'all just joined us, this is Grant Thompson from the DC Shy Pie. So let's do one thing, Grant, because you're not getting off that.
Okay.
Thompson. I just want to hug him. Inspirational. That's Noah the Great. Noah the Great say he just wants to hug you. Says it's inspirational.
There it is.
I think he's got one more shot. One more shot, then he'll be. He'll have his COVID vaccine. So let's do this. So we gave you some homework.
Okay.
And I told you it was going to come up. So this is the top 3. This is where we ask our guests their top 3 movies of all time, their top 3 albums of all time. Because movies and music are very diverse, and we know we're going to get a bunch of different answers. And I can't wait to hear. Start with your movies. What are your top 3 movies of all time?
Okay, number 1, Coming to America. Number 2, for the hip hop in me, 8 Mile.
Okay.
And number 3, Harlem Nights. I'm a fan of Eddie Murphy.
So are we. So we've heard the Coming to America. 8 Mile is a great movie. We haven't heard that one. We haven't heard Harlem Nights one either. But look, you can't go wrong with Arsenio and Eddie in those classic scenes. Harlem Night, that whole entourage he put together with all the big comedians.
Classic.
And it was an amazing movie.
Classic.
Let's do your albums.
All right. Top album. So The Gospel in Me. You all heard of Commission?
Yes,
no.
Actually.
Yeah, okay.
Go back and listen to Commission. Anything Commission, but my favorite Commission album was number 7.
Okay.
And they got some Run DMC stuff on there. They changed the game for contemporary gospel. And then secondly, anything Mint Condition. I'm a Mint fan. I'm a musician too, so
nice.
I like musicianship. I was at the 930 Club when they did Mint Condition.
That live album?
Yes, sir. I took my son there. We were there. So
amazing album.
Amazing. Mint Condition, and then the jazz in me is Marcus Miller.
I love Marcus Miller. I know Marcus Miller. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Three albums or artists that we haven't gotten thus far on the show. See, this is why we do it. That's great. Let's get ready to do this.
And kind of like a close third. Don't hate me for this, but Tony Braxton's first album, I fell in love with it. And
the one produced by Babyface.
Yeah.
Amazing album. That was an amazing album.
Yeah.
3 of those songs were on the Boomerang soundtrack, and Boomerang is one of my favorites. And that's all around. See, I know music too, man. That's a good album. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what you can go wrong with. You go wrong when you put E in control of a segment on the show, right?
All right.
So this is the Is It Just E segment.
All right.
So E is going to give you an unpopular opinion or something he's thinking on at the moment. And it typically brings the worst out of the people in the comments. So I don't know. Look, I've seen the picture. I can only imagine what he's about to say. So let's just get with it. Go ahead, E. Set it up.
All right. Grant, again, first I would like to say I apologize for the comment section that you're about to see. They really dislike my segment. It just really stirred those emotions up, you know what I mean? But that's what they brought me here for. That's why they allowed me to have the password to keep coming back, right?
Right.
But like you said, he kind of set it up for me. It's not necessarily an unpopular opinion. It's really just how I feel, and I stand on it. And I would dare.
Devil's advocate?
Huh?
Kind of devil's advocate?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay. Again, I did this last week. Well, hold on, Cleo. Take that down real quick, so I can give him the starter. Take that down. So just to kind of give you a preference of what it is, right? So one of the ones that still to this day haunts me, which I don't care. I'll fight anybody that has it. But I said lemon pepper wings are the nastiest flavor wings that there are out there.
Oh.
See? See? And that's so that reaction is you about to see in the comments. So now, Clay, go ahead and put it up. In honor of Mr. Thompson that's on here supplying us with these great deep dish pizzas. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there and have everybody go ahead and come at me. I don't care. But is it just E? But Hawaiian pizza style pizza, it's the worst. It's not even supposed to be together. You do not have cold fruit on a hot pizza. Now I understand the combination of the pineapple and the ham, and that's cool and all, but you don't put that shit on a pizza. Okay. I'm telling you right now, look, Mr. Thompson, I'm not a part of your family. I'm not a part of the focus group, but I promise you, please do not put this on your menu because ain't nobody checking for the Hawaiian flavored pizza. All I'm saying is, shit is nasty. All right.
Is this shots fired for Khalil?
It's shots fired for anybody that feels like fruit on a hot ass pizza is a good idea. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Okay, so for me, it's a flavor profile.
Yeah.
And people like what they like. It's not everybody, but people like what they like. And if somebody likes ham and cold fruit on their pie, who am I to say that they're wrong?
I'll preface this because Pop's he's really going to disown me if I keep saying it. The white man called it the Hawaiian pizza, right? And that's not what it is, right? It's just a name.
Who did that now? Say it again.
The white man, right, with the name Hawaiian pizza, right? Because that is not indicative of my secondary that is on this show. That they do not take kindly to that name based upon this bum ass pizza that they have on here, right? So we will preface it by saying pineapple on pizza with ham is terrible. It doesn't need to go on there. That's just me. I'll get your thoughts. I'll save Cleo for last because he clearly seems to feel some type of way. So, Mr. Thompson, how do you feel about that?
So again, it's a personal preference. I didn't like anchovies. I didn't like the idea of anchovies on anything until I tried it. And now I can't eat a real good, legit Caesar salad. You can't have it without anchovies because anchovies, they bring the noise.
Yep.
And I got a friend who does anchovies and olives on his pizza. It's one of the reasons why, people, when we first started, we used to put olives on the pizza, but we had so many people And we included it as one of the main ingredients for our veggie. We had so many people that would request no olives, to the point where we stopped buying them, because I would buy cans of olives or jars of olives, and they would just, I got olives sitting in my pantry now that we haven't used. And so I just think it's a personal preference. You know, I've had people ask, can we put pineapples on the pizza? Can you add pineapples?
Tell them no. Tell them no.
Tell them no.
Matter of fact, have them call me and I'll respond by saying, hell no, we don't do that here, and keep it moving. You better buy one of these other amazing pizzas that I got on this menu.
So let's do this. We'll make a recording, and with your voice on it, and when people request pineapples, we'll say, yo, y'all in it, push that right there, and that'll be the answer.
Yeah,
your voice.
That sounds like an incredible idea to me.
Yeah.
Stevie,
No, I mean, I can't hate on nobody who wants pineapples on their pizza. The same way my wife has this thing where I grew up putting sugar on grits. That's just the way I grew up. But they salt, pepper, and butter people. I can't hate on the fact that that's how she liked it. But when I make grits, yo, these comments are taking me out of here.
I told you it brings out the worst in people.
Now, if you put spam,
right? Yes. I preface it by saying the white man called it the Hawaiian pizza. But anyway, CB, where you at with this?
Man, so I feel like these toppings are so divisive because they're either you're like E and they don't belong on pizza at all, or it's like your favorite style of pizza in the world. Like, and so I feel like I'm kind of an oddity because I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, it's not my favorite at all, but it is one of my brother's favorites. So you better believe we do get it ordered quite a bit. And I don't have a problem with it. It's one of those things where there are other fruits that I think certainly would be way worse on a pizza than pineapple is. But yeah, I mean, if you were telling me that pineapple ham pizza was going away forever, otherwise I gotta, give up like my left pinky toe. Like, I'm keeping my left pinky toe. Like, I'm not giving that up for this specific pizza. But I'm not gonna say that it doesn't deserve a spot on someone's menu personally.
Let me ask you, E, what did pineapple pizza do to you?
There's a gang out in LA. The pineapples, they mugged them.
Pineapples are cool. I think, like you said, Greg, it's the pineapples you ingest, like, you think of them being like cold, you know what I mean? Like, and then you have this, you always want that piping hot pizza that's just hot enough to where the cheese is not sticking on the lid, but just enough to where you're gonna enjoy it, throughout the process. Here's the other piece. If you don't finish that, you then have to warm it up, and now you got a hot pineapple sitting on your damn pizza, which then it's only just F's up the pizza even more. I'm trying not to cuss because we trying to keep this on YouTube. So, that's just where it's at with me. That's all. But I would love to hear from Kaleo because he's too quiet, and I know he's got something to say about this situation.
So obviously, he has a new nickname. I'm gonna call him Eric Chauvin. Because I feel like I'm being racially profiled right now, right? With the Hawaiian pizza, and I'm kind of, Patty Cake Piper said it best. Like, this is not one of my favorites. Like, I can do without the ham. I'm not a big ham fan in general. So the ham and pine, I've had it before. It's okay, but when I order a pizza, I haven't ordered a Hawaiian style pizza in probably 15 plus years. So the ham I can do without. I do like pineapples on my pizza though. It's not a staple, but it can be a go-to. So
do you take offense to the title Hawaiian pizza?
No, I mean, I feel the same way about it as Hawaiian Punch. Like, whatever. It's just a name. It doesn't. I know who I am. I know what it is. So I'm not affected by it. But so I just not one of my favorite pizzas. But I'll tell you which one is one of my favorite pizzas. I had this delicious sausage and pepperoni pizza from the DC Shy Pie the other day, which is now literally, I told a couple people, like, this is, not only did it jump in the top 3 of pizza places that I've had in my life, I think it may have jumped to number 1. And I got plans to get a steak and cheese from you tomorrow, Grant. I'm going to see my order. It's going to come through, and I'm going to go 1 block over to my boy's house, and we're going to dissect this pie. Probably like 2 men shouldn't dissect the pie, but we're gonna tear this pie up together tomorrow night. So look out for that. But yeah, I'm torn with the Hawaiian thing. I said I'm not a big fan of pineapples, but it is it is what it is.
Nice.
Where are we at?
All I'm gonna say is we are.
Okay.
Nice.
So I told you, on top of all that, Grant, we are big sneakerheads. So big that it needs its own entrance, and we need to spotlight everything. I know that's probably, I'm almost guaranteeing it's probably people in the comments that are telling me not to hit the button a couple times. That's normally what I do, because when we have a guest on, I act like I don't have any home training. But I'm like, if you're new to the show, you don't understand. You got to understand us. You have to understand what we like. All right, we're just having a little bit of fun, right? All right, CB, what you got for the copper drop this week?
So for copper drop this week, we're switching it up. We're not just doing one specific shoe, but we're doing an entire drop that Adidas is doing. So if you've been following along with what Adidas has been doing for the last couple of months, they've been doing a lot of collabs with their ZX line. And so a few weeks ago, they dropped some Ultra Boosts that they did a collaboration with Lego, and those were pretty dope. Sold out, and so now they're extending that to the ZX 8000 model, and they're releasing 6 different colorways. Internationally, they drop either tomorrow or Saturday. In the US, these are dropping in May on the 8th. So it's $140. There's 6 different colors. I grew up with Legos, and I think that we will attribute my brother growing up to become an engineer because of Legos. Wow. So there's something like kind of cool and nostalgic about the product, and so I think that they're really dope. I'm a fan of the ZX line that Adidas does, so I'll probably try to get at least one of these colors. But yeah, for me, these are a cop, and I think that it's one of those things where if people don't necessarily like the shoe itself, maybe they like one of the 6 different colors that they're releasing in or something like that. But yeah, copper drop this week, the Legwin Adidas ZX 8000. And for me, at least one of the colorways, one way or another, will be a cop.
Yeah, I think the only color resonates, I like the yellow. So I would say cop. Which one in specific? Yeah, probably the yellow out of all of them.
Yeah, I think is that the gray one? I think the gray one for me, only because I feel like it's a change of pace, different color. The bright colors is what it is. But in some of those colors you can't wear in certain locations out here. We'll keep it neutral.
Yeah.
We'll stay with the gray.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fan of the gray ones too.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Pops was saying, though. Instead of stepping on Legos, now you be stepping out in Legos. You know what I mean? So
Right. All right. So from there we transition into For the Soul. Who wants to go first? Oh, so Grant, you're the guest. I told you about the shoes. Did you bring any shoes first of all?
So I'm like steps away from where the shoe is.
Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can. We'll hold off for you. We'll
Talk
have.
amongst yourselves.
Yep.
For a second, and let me grab some shoes.
There you go. Man, this is like.
all I'm saying is that no one needs to try to contact Kaleo or John tomorrow afternoon because they will be asleep. After they eat pizza.
I'm bringing my sleeping bag.
Right, yeah. You might be going over there maybe midday. I have no idea when you're getting over there, but if it's like past 7 p.m., I'll know not to send you a text.
Let's start with Noah. Noah sent in his For the Soul. I know, right? Those are which one? Which dunks are those, CB?
Off the top of my head, I don't have the name, but those are fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoo!
Yeah, those are dope. Yeah, Noah sent that to me. He was like, "Yo, how can I get it For the Souls?" Like, just send me the picture. But no, those are dope. I can't remember the name of them because those were ones that we may have featured those.
I don't remember because we've done a lot of dunks.
A lot of dunks. And these aren't the ones with the Chinese, like the Chinese.
They look kind of similar to those ones.
Right.
Yeah, those are different. I just don't have the name off the top.
Grant, so you're the guest. Do you want to go City Marker?
City. Oh yeah. Those are dope.
Grant, you're the guest. Do you want to go first or last?
It can be any sneaker. It doesn't have to be a dunk or anything.
No, do whatever you want.
Yep.
All right. So, Space Hippies.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
How comfortable are those?
Very, very comfortable. I've never owned a pair of Yeezys. I don't know if I'm getting myself in trouble by saying that, but my son has, and my son said that they're a little more comfortable than his Yeezys. So
interesting.
Nice.
That's saying something.
Nike Space Hippies. And the beautiful thing about this shoe is made of all
recycled materials, right?
Like recycled material, yeah. So it's a green thing too.
Yep.
Dope. Superfly, I think he wanted those, right? I think he
at least one of the styles of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. These have been featured on the show before, but from all the L's that we have taken on the sneaker app, and how I was a part of the first L that I took on StockX when I thought that some serious heat was coming my way, that I forgot about the second heat that came with it. The shots fired and I caught the second one. But brother CB knows about these, and I consider us close to the point where the Air Max 1 is just it's almost like it's a family thing, right? So,
yes.
Yes. I had to, CB. And I ain't got to show it that much because CB already gave it all the grace that it needs. But I will put it out there to make sure that it has that green on there as well. You did.
Nice.
But
the Clot Air Max 1s.
Nice.
Golly.
Wow.
CB got those in the background.
I do get them in the back.
That's how serious the shoe had to be in the collection. There was no way that I was not going to be able to live with myself if I had all these Air Max 1s and these weren't a part of the collection. So yeah.
Are you keeping the stock like tan laces, or are you going to switch to the red laces?
I'm glad you asked there, brother, because for that same reason, I'm going to keep the tan laces because I think they go so very well.
Hey. Hold on. Let's get that exclusive in there. We got something else. Dope.
Merch.
Hey, how can I get my hands on the merch?
I'll drop one off when I get a pizza from you, and we're gonna make an even exchange.
All right, yeah.
We go about it. We go about our business.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We got yeah. So they would go.
Was that the white one or the cream one?
That's the cell one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is the white one right here.
Let's
Dope.
go.
That's nice.
Okay. Dope.
So,
We got merch coming, everybody. Thank you for that live, CB. I definitely know what to do with it.
Yep.
So I'm gonna keep those laces in there until we venture out to some more colorways of the We Are Something Else shirts, and then
that works.
get it going.
I'm going to piggyback on Grant because we haven't even mentioned it today, but today is Earth Day. And so Grant actually having shown the Space Hippie kind of ties into what I'm showing. Different brand, Pops don't hate me. But we got 3 stripes. These are the Alpha Bounce ones that Parlay did. So for people that are familiar with Parlay, they deal with recycled plastics in the ocean and repurposing them. So the upper is actually made from like this recycled like Parlay material. So
Nice.
these are dope for that reason. This is
Are they white or green?
these are white. They have green like teal accents on there.
Yeah, they almost look glow in the dark.
Yeah, and because they're super like white, but then they got like a gum bottom, which I'm a huge fan of that. But I've actually had these for a while, and as you can see, they still got a tag on them because I haven't worn them yet. But these are I've got a couple pairs of Adidas Parlay shoes, and I figured today was a great day to spotlight those because it's Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Hold it. Okay.
Yeah. Gotta mess with my camera.
So yeah, I went with something deep into the collection too that I actually found because we were getting work done to the house, and as I was putting stuff back, I was just opening boxes. Oh my god, I forgot I had these. So you know what Nike box that is, right?
Yep.
So what's inside though? We got the Air Jordan 1 All Stars from I think these were like 3 years ago. I think they maybe only touched the ground once or twice because I forgot I had them. But
those are beautiful.
Yeah. So it's kind of like chameleon paint. Like everything is a different color as you get around it. It just kind of transforms.
Those are hot.
But yeah,
can't
and
go
then
wrong
the
with ones.
got the chameleon aglet as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that's dope.
Man, an hour and 40 minutes has blown by. But again, for everybody that's joining us, who this is your first time joining us, We Are Something Else. You can find us everywhere. Just Google us, but we're on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, just everywhere you can get your podcasts or your downloads. Find us there. If you're first time joining us, please like and subscribe to the channel. That means something to somebody somewhere. But again, we want to thank Mr. Grant. I'm gonna do you right. There we go. Mr. Grant Thompson for joining us for our Black Business Series. Amazing show, great show. Grant, what can we find you at?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram as the DC Shy Pie on Facebook and Instagram, and we have a website, but it's under construction now. But I'll give it to you now. It's thedcshypie.com, and it should be up and running by the time we roll out the flats. The DC
Let's go.
But you can reach us right now on Instagram or on Facebook at the DC Shy Pie.
Man, I cannot wait for that chicken and mumbo pizza. Yeah, that might be a May 1st order.
Oh, and that's gonna be a good rollout. But again, and where can they order? Do you order through Instagram? You order through?
Yeah. So there's a link on Instagram and on Facebook. It says place order here. You click on that, and it'll take you right to our Toast tab page. And it's kind of it's very self-explanatory. It'll take you through the process. and you can order, you can delete, or you can add toppings and that kind of thing, and it'll check you out and tell you what time your pickup is.
Everything but pineapples.
Damn right.
And
No pineapples.
all right, Grant, hang on in the room for a little bit. We'll talk to you off camera. But again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Look at these last comments. There's a couple people want to say.
Can I do a shout out?
Oh yeah, shout out. Who you want to shout out? Go ahead.
Shout out to the whole DC Shot Pie team. Shout out to my wife Margaret, and I saw Joy Cates Pearson on there. Shout out to Joy. I want to shout out to Marcus, because Marcus is the person who kind of connected. It's like 6 degrees to this We Are Something Else podcast.
Yep.
And Marcus told Eric told Kaleo, and here we are. And
Absolutely.
And now I know, all of you guys, E. Rich and CB, and man, I'm just ecstatic to be a part of you all's family, and I'm ecstatic to have you all as a part of the DC Shop.
Hey, look, it full circle for sure, because it's one of those gems where you don't know unless somebody tells you, and then when they tell you, like, it's so good, like I got to run and tell somebody else, and then that person got to run, and it's just the word of mouth, and it's just amazing. And it's always good to promote positivity or something positive that's happening in times like this. So, but yeah, this is not the end of it, because again, we got 3 exclusives tonight. We want to appreciate you for that. And then this is your platform. If you ever need to come back and give more exclusives or drop more dimes, just communicate. And
and you know what? I'm gonna stay here. That every time we roll out something different or roll out something new, you guys are gonna be the first people that we're gonna drop it.
I love that.
Let's do it. All right, y'all. We are something else. Grant, stay in the room.